Hi there. During the National Day holiday, I visited Tibet for the first time. I was worried about altitude sickness. That's why Nyingchi, which is at a relatively low altitude, was our first stop. The first day's itinerary started from the airport, passing through Nyingchi, ascending 1,600 feet to arrive at Basongcuo. Our first stop was a Chaoshan Yakapa. Chaoshan style is renowned for its emphasis on the natural flavor of ingredients. That's why it features a lighter broth, allowing the ingredients to take center stage. Cuo means lake in Tibetan. Basongcuo means green water. On the way to Basongcuo, we can already see various sizes of blue-greenish water bodies. With the blue sky, white clouds, and the mountains, the greenery relaxes my eyes accustomed to skyscrapers. There's a wooden plank sidewalk on one side of Basongcuo. In the middle of the lake, there's a monastery, Cuozhonggong-Ba-Si. Its name means a castle in the lake. Visitors can enter to explore. There are quite a few Sichuan restaurants in Tibet. First night in Tibet, we had Sichuan cuisines. The next day's itinerary was to Xingcuo, then passing through Nyingchi to Lulang. During our 7 days in Tibet, breakfast was mostly a self-service style. There were usually stalls serving noodle soup. Having a bowl of hot rice noodles in the morning felt quite delightful. The road to Xingcuo was a dirt road. This dirt road runs alongside the river with several places to stop. When we reached the parking lot in Xingcuo, it was still a distance from the lake. You can walk or take an ATV or ride a horse. Walking takes about an hour to reach the lake. Here, autumn is like a palette of colors, with various shades of green, beautifully combined. For lunch, we had simple noodles in Jieba village. Passing through Nyingchi, I got a cup of milk tea with Tibetan tea as base. It was delicious. I came back the next day. This time, we stayed in a Poli hotel in Lulang. Both Nyingchi and Lulang have supported by Guangdong province, with good infrastructures and real estate development for local tourism projects. For dinner, we had Lulang Sangzhu stone pot chicken. Motuo is famous for stone pot production. A chef from Chongqing invented stone pot chicken and taught the locals. This restaurant is famous for its mushroom stone pot chicken. It was delicious, highly recommended. Considering potential altitude sickness, the itinerary for the first 3 days was relatively relaxed. The third day was from Lulang to Miling, returning to the location of Nyingchi Airport. In the morning, I strolled around near the hotel in Lulang. In the center of a nearby lake, there's a white stupa, an important structure in Tibetan Buddhism, typically used to enshrine Buddhist images or scriptures. At noon, passing through Lingzhi, I got another cup of Tibetan milk tea and had lunch at charcoal grilled stories. The meat was grilled to perfection, sizzling with aroma. After that, we passed by Yani National Wetland Park and saw a cow trying to jump over a 3 feet high fence to get to another patch of grass. In the evening, we had pickled vegetable yak hapa in Miling, with a soup base made with pickled peppers that was sour and spicy, very appetizing. Crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside, the fried cornbread paired with stir-fried grains was cured meat. One word, delicious. That night, we stayed in a hotel-style RV. The RV removed the kitchen, only featuring basic hotel functions, making it quite cozy. Raindrops tapped on the glass, creating a soft sound like white noise. At that moment, I felt incredibly close to nature. The first day was a travel day. It took 6 hours to drive from Miling to Shannan. If the natural scenery of Lingzhi is lush and vibrant, with green grass and abundant trees, then along the way from Miling to Shannan, the landscape gradually turns more barren and rugged. This road runs along the Yalu-Zangbu River. Rolling down the window, you can hear the roaring waters of Yalu-Zangbu River. On the way, we passed through towns like Liang County and Jiacha County, where you could stop for meals. We saw 2 large dams and a bridge spanning the river along the way. We arrived in Shannan in the evening. After dinner, we encountered a plaza dance. It's a dance that people of all ages participate in, making it really hard to resist joining in. On the 5th day, we set off from Shannan to visit the Tibetan king's tomb, then headed south to Zhegu grassland, before turning back towards Lhasa. The Tibetan king's tomb is the largest existing group of Tibetan royal tombs, located in the ancient birthplace of the Tibetan people, in the hometown of Songzan Ganbu. Above the tomb of Songzan Ganbu, there is a shrine that was once the tomb keeper's residence and later converted into a temple. Not far from the tombs is the museum, which documents the history of various Tibetan kings. "25 miles south of the Tibetan king's tomb is Zhegu grassland, which is at an elevation of 15,000 feet. It is home to unique plateau wildlife. A huge highlight at Zhegu grassland was seeing a Tibetan wild donkey, which along with the panda and golden monkey is listed as a national first-class protected species in China. With all the animals we saw along the way, it felt like we had entered a real animal kingdom. Now let me introduce you to a cow that we had a connection with. After dinner that day, I saw a shadow dart by, and it turned out to be a cow. It must have been grazing on the other side of the yard. We accidentally left the yard gate closed, and it had been here all afternoon. When we opened the gate, it charged towards me. Returning to Shannan, we found a Tibetan restaurant and ordered Tibetan noodles, beef pies, and curry potatoes. I must say the texture of the Tibetan noodles was different from most of the noodles or pasta I had before. After finishing the noodles, we set off for Lhasa. On the way, we passed Sangye-Si, also known as the Three Styles Temple. Its central hall features a blend of Tibetan, Han, and Indian architectural styles. The first stop in Lhasa was Nanshan Park, where you could climb to the top for a panoramic view of the entire city. In the evening, we visited a Sichuan cold noodle shop, which was quite tasty, definitely recommended. The shop had a notice warning about pickpockets, indicating there are quite a few around. The sixth day was spent entirely in Lhasa. In the morning, we visited the Potala Palace and had a guided tour there. Besides the guide's explanations, I highly recommend watching the documentary titled Potala Palace beforehand. For lunch, we had a potato and beef brisket rice bowl and a chicken soup noodle set in Bakuo Street. After arriving in Lhasa, I learned that Dazhao Si is the spiritual center of the city and the most sacred monastery in Tibet. It holds an unparalleled position among Tibetans and Tibetan Buddhist believers and is the ultimate pilgrimage destination for them. First, there was Dazhao Temple, then Lhasa City came to be. Dazhao Temple houses a statue of the 12-year-old Shakyamuni brought by Princess Wenchen of the Tang Dynasty. Lhasa has several Kora routes divided into inner, middle, and outer circles, with one of them running along Bakuo Street, which means middle circle. After a day of exploring Lhasa, we had dinner at a Nepalese restaurant. The fragrant naan paired with curry was delicious. Eating 2 pieces wasn't too much at all. On the last day in Tibet, we visited Yangzhuo-Yongcuo, one of the 3 sacred lakes in Tibet. Yangzhuo-Yongcuo means Jade Lake in Tibetan. The turquoise waters lapped against the shore as we had picnic by the lake. Speaking of picnics, in the afternoon we returned to Lhasa and went to Luolinka. Many locals have picnics here. Linka running means having picnic. Regarding altitude sickness, I advise everyone to be well prepared. As you can see, I take every opportunity to intake oxygen from the oxygen can at different altitudes. As for driving and road conditions, 80% of the roads are in excellent condition as national roads. However, there are only 2 lanes, so overtaking is necessary at times. 10% of the roads are unpaved. If you're going on similar roads, I recommend driving an SUV. The remaining 10% consists of mountainous roads, which have many curves. On these mountain roads, you might encounter various daredevil drivers like this one, who dangerously drove over half of the oncoming lane while turning. During this trip to Tibet, I saw the layered forests, gazed at the towering snow-capped mountains, walked on the same bricks of Bakuo Street as the pilgrims, and felt the physical effects of high altitude. There are still many places worth exploring in Tibet, like Ali, Rikaze, and Mount Gangrenboqi. Until next time, see ya!